So let's talk about Pythagorean Theorem. Pythagorean Theorem is the most core thing that we do in trigonometry with right-angle triangles. We gotta know that when I say right-angle triangle, I mean a triangle like this one here that has this nice square off corner. Okay, more specifically, it's often denoted with this square symbol here, and what that means is that that corner is 90 degrees. That's why I say it's squared off, because just like a square, it's got a corner of 90 degrees. So Pythagorean theorem only works on triangles like this one that have a 90-degree corner. Okay? So Pythagorean theorem states that if you have a triangle of side lengths A, B, and C, where C is the longest side, also called the hypotenuse, then you can find C using A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So the theorem states that for every square of the hypotenuse there exists two side lengths whose squares are the sum of whose squares is the square of the hypotenuse. So this equation can be used to find side C if we have A and B. Right? So it's used to find this longest side, assuming that we have side A and side B. Okay? We can also use this equation just by messing with it a little bit to find either of these side lengths. Okay? So just by moving things across the equal sign here, we can find instead it could be A squared, so just one of these sides, equals C squared minus B squared. Okay, and similarly, you could find that B squared equals C squared minus A squared. Okay, now one of the most important things to remember here, and one of the easiest mistakes that gets made, is assigning C, assigning which one is the hypotenuse. Okay, best way to remember it, find this corner and then look all the way across. So imagine it's like a camera pointing across. Whatever its opposite is, this side here, that's going to be the hypotenuse. Okay, it's not always obvious on paper which one is the longest side, but it should be obvious which one is opposite from the right angle. Okay, A and B can be assigned however you like. It's just the other two sides. As long as before you do your question, you assign those sides and keep them consistent throughout the question. So let's do an example here. Let's say, for example, we had side lengths of 3 and 4. Right? We're not going to use units here because they don't serve our purpose here. We're just going to do 3 and 4. So let's write out our equation. So we know that A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We substitute in our values. We know that A is 3, so 3 squared, plus B is 4, so 4 squared, equals, we don't know C yet, so C squared. Okay. 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16, equals C squared, which means it's 25 equals C squared if we add those together. And finally, since we don't want C squared, we just want C, we have to take the square root of both sides. Okay? When we take the square root of both sides, we find that 5 is equal to C, or C equals 5. Okay? So 3, 4, 5. Using these equations are similar, just using a subtraction instead of an addition at this point, ending in the same way. Okay, so that is the basis for finding sides with Pythagorean theorem.